Hi, Haydar.
Hi Zaina,
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Right, we have another episode of Infinity Insights. Let's get
hmm
into it.
Yeah,
Today we'll be talking about leasehold, freehold, and share freehold, what the differences are between each of them,
hmm
and some advantages and disadvantages.
okay,
Now, we will not cover every single little thing, but we will cover the general idea
most of it,
of
yeah.
each
We'll
one.
try our best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so let's start with leasehold. What is leasehold?
Leasehold is when you buy a flat with a certain time with it. So let's say 100 year, 200 year, 300 year,
Yeah.
90 year, um, and you don't own the land
Mm-hmm.
where it sits on, um, and yeah, that's a leasehold.
But you own the property.
You own the property,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, usually it's a flat, comes as a leasehold, not a house.
All right. Okay, and moving on to the next one, which
Share
is share
freehold.
freehold.
Share freehold, it's when you buy a flat, it's flat again, or masonette can be, and but this time you share the land that sits on it, um, with your partner, another leaseholder or share freeholder. It could be next to you, can be above you, can be under you. That's how it is. Can be maisonette,
Yeah.
horizontal, or any type of. That's a share freehold.
Perfect. And what's freehold then?
A freehold, it's when you own the property with the land sits on, your property sits on, and yeah, and you have it for forever, as long as you want.
Perfect.
No timing.
Yeah. Now, going back to leasehold,
hmm
can you give me a rough or a general idea of the advantages and disadvantages?
For a leasehold.
Yes.
Okay, so the let's start with the advantage. Let's
Yeah.
be more positive first.
Yeah.
Advantage of the leasehold is usually it's cheaper.
Yeah.
That's one of the. So most of people they can't really be able they afford freehold
Yeah.
house in a certain area, so they can go for a leasehold. And it's always flat, so you could have um, within a block, or yeah, within a block, so there's more security, or it's a court, so there's more security. You've got everything there, and also you would not need to worried about maintain anything outside your
Flats.
flat
Yeah.
or any of this.
Yeah, right. And obviously, with leasehold flat, you would need to pay ground rent and a service
Right.
charge.
So the disadvantage is you have to pay for all these services because you're not going to do it.
Yeah,
So with a leasehold, you have to pay on most of the time. Sometimes you don't, if you're lucky.
yeah,
But most of the time, you have to pay service charge and a ground rent,
mm,
and they can be very expensive.
yeah,
Now, it's not only that; it's about the lease. Now, if you talk about leasehold, a lease
yeah,
within a Greater London can be 100 year, 99 year, 80 year. Um, it's fine. However, if it's under 65 year, or beyond 65 year, you will have a difficulty to get a mortgage,
yeah,
and it's difficult to renew the lease sometimes because the freeholder, the owner of the land can be he will ask for certain amount of money. So there's a lot of different um, disadvantage we can say with this leasehold when it
yeah.
comes to that.
Perfect. Now, how about share of freehold? What are the advantages and disadvantages of that?
The share of freehold, you will the advantage of it is the land where your property sits on it, you actually own, or you own share of it.
Yeah.
Okay, but you don't. But the flat where you own it, it's got a lease as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's a bit
Complex.
yeah, complex and a bit strange to the way doing it, but that's how it is. And you don't need to pay any ground rent or service charge, because obviously you share the
cost.
job and the cost, and you know, responsibility between you and your partner shares with you. And also you've got um, you've got a lease, but because you share of your land, so you don't really need to care much of about the lease. So we always actually advise people to go for share freehold if they will not be able to buy a freehold.
Yeah.
So we always saying, no, go for share freehold, because you got more, you know, you can do a lot more things into that.
Right. And disadvantages?
Um, Disadvantages of share freehold, it could be, well, you have to obviously take care of, maintain and take care of your place by yourself, because you don't have a community unless it's a big court, and that's totally different. But usually if it's a house divided in two, and then you share of the flat, or purpose built flats which is above and under, and you share the land, so you are responsible for all the outside as well, as much as inside your flat. And obviously the insurance and everything as well comes with it. I always advise those who buy share freehold, check the all the papers, floor plan, surveying, if they can hire a surveyor, private surveyor, to survey everything, building surveyor and land surveyor, to make sure before they sign the final paper what land, what piece of that land theirs, and which one is their partner, so they don't have confusing and everything, because we had these issues before.
Okay, perfect. And the last one, advantages and disadvantages of freehold.
Well, freehold, it's basically you own the land and the entire building, where it sits on that land. The advantage of, no one can come and tell you you have to do this or you should do that or anything. That's, by the way, in a leasehold you can have a problem, because with a leasehold, if it's a purpose built, if it's your flat into within a block of flats, the management or the landlord, the freeholder, will come and say, look, now we are planning to change all the windows, the outside windows. So we have to spend 500,000, and that 500,000 we will divide it with that many people, many flats, and you have to pay 30,000. Now I come with an example. And then you don't have any choice to, you know, I mean, you could discuss and negotiate and everything, but at the end of the day, when you buy a flat with a leasehold, now we are back to a leasehold. When you buy a leasehold flat, you sign a papers that you kind of you have to go with everything happening with the building. So any maintenance outside or inside the building, not your flat,
it's out of your control.
It's out of your control, and you have to pay for it extra. Now with your house, you don't need to. Whenever you want to change the windows, you can change it. Do you want to do some extension, or you want to knock on something wall within your property, you can, if you want,
with planning permission.
With a planning permission, that's what I want to say, or building regulation.
But
so you have more freedom of the freehold. Yes.
Perfect. I think we've covered mostly everything. That's it for today's episode. I will put our socials on the screen, so you can follow us, DM us if you would like to ask any questions, or if you want something explained further. And we will see you guys on the next episode of Infinity Insights.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.